Hello there, this is Robert Newman, Chief Marketing Officer for Inbound Real Estate Marketing and founder as well. Today I'm going to do a review of Easy Agent Pro that goes along with my article on who the top 10 providers of real estate websites are in 2017. So first of all, Easy Agent Pro easily makes this list. The company is founded by Tyler Zay and Robert Laprise. And these guys have made a huge effort to create a website that is different and friendly in comparison to many other real estate websites. Now, my comment to this, though, is that if I see one basic weakness with Easy Agent Pro is that neither one of these guys really had a lot of real estate experience when they founded the company. And what they did is they probably got introduced and exposed to real estate, realized there's a huge weakness, this massive market gap. They figured they could fill that gap, but they didn't ask the key question of who their clients really are. And they haven't talked to hundreds or thousands of realtors, so they don't know a key and super fundamental element, which is very few real estate agents will ever have the time or the drive to become professional digital marketers. And Easy Agent Pro has made some amazing tools, but you have to spend many, many hours learning how to use these tools. You basically have to become a marketing expert. Now, that is a very small critique because what Tyler and Robert are doing is they're taking hundreds of their own hours and they're actually providing you with the training to use these tools. So if you have some basic motivation and any kind of drive to be a digital marketer, they're at least teaching you how. The last thing is that with digital marketing or SEO in particular, which is a lot of what they talk about, it takes a lot of time to get to a place where you're going to be successful. And I'm not saying that nobody will do this, but if you have an agent that is brand new, you're basically saying you need to divide your time between being a digital marketer and an agent, and then you'll be successful. So that's my overall comments and criteria. Let's jump right into the deeper review. And that's stuff I didn't have a chance to say. So I've done a lot of reviews because Easy Agent Pro has done some amazing things, including building a website, this website, in the last 3 years. They've only been doing this for 3 years. And in those 3 years, they have become one of the top real estate websites in the country. They dominate the search engines, and they have been around for far less time than other providers on this list. So whether they knew how to do it or not in the first place, Tyler and Robert certainly know how to do content marketing better than almost any other company on my list. I think the only exception might be me, and I don't have the results. It's actually Playster and me, and we're the only two people that can even remotely compete in terms of results, because Tyler is just doing an incredible job. He's in 2 years he's now built up his website up to the point that he has $165,000 worth of traffic coming into it each and every single month. So you've probably heard of Easy Agent Pro, and that's why I'm doing so many reviews and spending so much time on them, is everybody's hearing about who this company is. Now here's one of the things that Tyler, so these are the websites that they make. They're clean, they're beautiful. Now I picked 3 examples, but one of the examples I picked for a very definitive reason. Nick Shivers and his team I've worked with. And here's a key point, and I've talked to Kyle. So that's the advantage of having been in this business for as long as I've been in it. So Nick Shivers either does or used to have a controller at his company by the name of Tim Rowe. Tim Rowe and I worked together at Agent Image. We sat next to each other, and I mean quite literally sat next to each other, and then he left. He was recruited by Nick to go run his marketing and operations. Unless Nick has changed something, all they use the website for is branding. They are not driving leads through this website. They are driving leads through Boomtown. I'm sure that they would be happy to get leads from the website, but it's important that you understand the differences between the kinds of websites. And as good as Easy Agent Pro is, it's not really a real estate lead generation site yet. These guys haven't dialed in all their support services. They do have a CRM, but they spend most of their time talking about how to generate traffic, not how to support leads. They really don't know how many leads their clients are going to generate, because all of their marketing efforts are really based around the client themselves getting and using the website properly. And you'd have to follow up with the client in order to understand if that's really happening, which makes them definitely not a real estate lead generation service. What they do is they make very beautiful real estate templates. You can kind of see how these are all the same. They've got video, they've got lots, they are doing everything right in terms of building the website. They're adding all the things that Google wants, and they're one of the few companies that are. They're also doing text messages, so they're building you a beautiful tool, a better tool than most. But in almost every case, I would tell most people looking to buy a website that this website is more of a new agent website. Nick doesn't care. I mean, maybe that's changed, and I know he wants a beautiful website, but unless something has changed with his brokerage, his website is a bookmark, and his lead generation is done in other places. I can't speak to these two companies. I don't recall what the story was with these operations, but that gives you an understanding of who's buying these websites and what place do they have. Also, another thing about Easy Agent Pro is these websites are super inexpensive. They're $259 a month or $239, and they start at less. It's $118 a month. You can build an unlimited number of landing pages on them, which is what Tyler and his team will tell you. One of the things that they've done, which I think is a big mistake, is that they have branded some pretty basic functionality. So like, if Tim is the one that's still responsible for Nick's marketing, he knows as well as I do what Facebook pixels are. 90% of everybody in real estate really doesn't know that much about technology. But there's that 10%. The real estate assistants, digital marketers, the people that assist top realtors, and some of the top realtors themselves, like ManaUSA.com, which is run by a guy that knows a lot about online marketing. So there is a segment, a very small segment of real estate that does understand online marketing, and this is just going to confuse them. What most of this is basic real estate marketing tools gone by another name. Like so Tyler and his team have decided to brand name these pages. So Smart Pop-Up is somewhat obvious. It's just a pop-up form onto a screen. It's like a lead generation form. Pixels are marketing pixels. Header leads, which I think is confusing, it's just a header. So a lot of these are the same concept. They're pop-ups or slide-ins. They're not, usually most people would not identify these as different tools. They would identify them as the same tool that works in different ways, because that's what they are. They're just a way to inspire a response when you're on a page. All of this is making the assumption that you've built some really good content and that you then need response. Now, seeing as how this whole operation is being done by one of real estate's greatest content marketers, it would make sense why they themselves are so excited about these tools. But I know for a fact that there are not very many content marketers in all of real estate at the agent or team level. So I'm sure there's a few. I'm not saying there's none. I'm just saying there aren't many. So Texty is where you text the lead back, and so all of these things are you have to get into. You have to really research it and figure out what these tools do. But they don't do anything new that other tools don't do. The only thing that's on here that's really truly unique is they built a content development page where it basically follows all the best SEO principles. So it's like a coloring book where the outline's already been created for you, and that's pretty cool. Because it's one of a kind. And then some of the stuff that they're introducing in here, like their newest thing, which is you can't quite see it, but it's a damn it. What? Anyway, it's a tool where they're just creating like Zapier like integrations into other services. Now I know most of you won't know who Zapier is, but all they do is they create gateways between applications so that they talk to each other. It's the simplest way to put it. So these guys are starting to do the same thing where now their websites will talk to a lot of tools, make it very easy on you, like MailChimp and other services like that. So Tyler Zay is a clarinetist. He's an artist. I love companies that are started by artists. There's always a certain kind of passion that goes along with people who pursue some form of art. Along with I'm a dancer, so I get very excited when I see other people who have a very strong artistic streak get into the brass knuckle business worlds, because typically they approach it in a creative way, and that can certainly be said of these guys. They have really approached building out a website company focused on real estate in a creative way. But you can see here, based on what he's saying, his experience is he and Robert had started this company called Page One, which was a reputation manager, and they almost immediately moved it into putting most of their time and energy into Easy Agent Pro. It would appear that Tyler and Robert met each other at probably when they're doing SerPro. So that's probably where their introduction was. And then they've just decided to jump out, do their own company, start Easy Agent Pro. But they haven't been doing this for very long. So you can see that they basically started in January of 2015. Maybe they had started a blog already, but really they've been at this for 2 years, and they already have 4,000 or 5,000 customers. That's really super impressive. These guys, and they've built up their website the way they built it up. So they've definitely got some magic happening. It's just they have essentially, without intending to, I think, designed a product that should be used. And technically speaking, because I usually I talk about websites in categories. I talk about them in real estate lead generation websites, real estate IDX websites, and custom real estate websites. And these guys don't really fall into any of those buckets very cleanly. If I had to say, I'd say they were a real estate IDX website, but they're not a real estate lead generation site because they don't focus all of their efforts on that. And that's another thing about them. They haven't really defined their niche. They're just making good, low-cost websites. They have kind of a focus on SEO, but they need to spend a lot more time defining how they get leads and what happens after those leads are generated in order to really truly become a real estate lead generation company. So they're somewhat in between. They're like a real estate IDX company, a real estate IDX website, and a real estate lead generation website, somewhere in the middle of that. And whichever one it is, you're going to have to spend a lot of time and energy learning how to use these sites. You could drive traffic into like some of their landing or squeeze pages, but you're not going to get very good leads if you do that because they're not focused on the search experience, and that's what you need to be focused on in order to generate really strong leads. And they just don't have the experience behind them yet to have realized that. So they're applying what is very common in every other vertical except real estate, which is where you drive traffic into a squeeze page, people sign up. The only way that works is if you have a piece of content, which they do talk about. They do understand that. But you have to create something really interesting for people to sign up. And just because you've done that, that doesn't mean they're looking for a house. It just means that they're looking for that piece of content. So you'd have to really mess around with the strategy that they're talking about to be successful. Granted, I haven't read or looked at every single video that Tyler has produced. I do watch a lot of them because they're good and I enjoy them, and they're very clever and they're very creative. But I haven't watched them all. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up because I've done a lot of information on Easy Agent Pro someplace else. I've done 8 videos in total comparing Easy Agent Pro to Real Geeks. So this video is talking about them as a website maker specifically for my latest review, because they've made it into my reviews twice. Once for real estate lead generation. I just realized I may have done something confusing. Once into a real estate lead generation website review between Easy Agent Pro and Real Geeks, and now in the top 10 real estate website providers review that I've done, which is actually more like top 20, but I'm not really doing a deep review on 10 of them. I'm just adding them to the list. So it's like 10 honorable mentions, 10 providers. So here's the confusing thing. I've just said that they're not a true real estate lead generation company, but I did review them as a real estate lead generation website. It's important to note that I was doing things in categories. And when you compare this service to Boomtown or Real Geeks, those are real lead generation websites, with Boomtown truly being the only real estate lead generation company that is like a serious player in the entire industry, because they support not only the lead generation, they create the website, they manage the leads for you, they train you how to do all that stuff. They are a lead generation company, full stop. These guys are still trying to figure out what their model is. And Real Geeks is the same way. They built a website that's for lead generation. They just don't do it for you necessarily. They decided that they wanted to be more of a person that builds the tool, that is really, really good at it, but they don't necessarily want to run all the marketing that's connected to the tool. So once again, they're halfway there. They make a very good real estate lead generation website, but they're not a real estate lead generation company. So differences. So anyway, I hope that clarifies things, and thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you later.